Hi everyone. So for my Shark Tank assignment idea, I decided to come up with an app where college athletes could podcast. I didn't want to do just all college students because obviously you could upload anything you want to Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, etc. So this is an app that would pertain strictly to college athletes to share their stories, share performances, share goals and objectives, and also hear from other college student athletes. So, for instance, a soccer athlete might have a different schedule, different conflictions than someone who is a college student in baseball or basketball. I think that the app would definitely allow students to have a voice, college athletes to have a voice. It talks about, they could talk about anything they want for however long they want, distribute it. They could talk about the everyday issues they face, and that would include sleeping habits, eating habits, maintaining a strict diet, exercise, how frequently they have to exercise, suffering injuries. I know people who have had their whole careers ended because of ankle injuries and torn ACLs, the difficulties of balancing homework and practices, making room for family and friends. These are all struggles that I think college students as a whole face, but especially with student athletes, the added pressure of not only competing on the field, but also balancing everything that they're doing off the field. And all of them have a similar goal toward reaching the top. And I think that having a platform where student athletes can hear from other student athletes and what their goals are is definitely something that could really benefit, especially incoming freshman students who are going to be in athletics. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, especially if you're on a varsity team as only a freshman, you come in and you lack some of the experiences and the confidence. I think having a platform where they can go and hear from other college student athletes, because we hear so much about professional athletes like Derek Jeter and LeBron James. If students can hear from each other and hear what they have to say about exercise and maintaining a diet and avoiding injuries, but also at the same time getting homework complete, showing up on time to practices, and maintaining strong time management skills. I think it's something that athletes can learn from each other, but also could take initiatives on and try to make their own voices be heard. I think one potential challenge for the app comes with the Players Tribune, which is a website founded by Derek Jeter, who used to play for the Yankees, of course. And that app or website kind of allows professional athletes to blog and post their own things. So Serena Williams, if she wanted to, for example, could post anything she wanted tomorrow and write her own thing, and other athletes could see it, and all people could see it, including myself. So that is one challenge, because it does allow professional athletes to talk about what they're doing and what their challenges are, whereas mine is with student athletes. And the popularity of student athletes, of course, is limited in comparison to the popularity of professional athletes. For instance, I think the most popular college athlete for a while was Zion Williamson prior to being drafted by the Pelicans. But LeBron James releasing something on the Players Tribune as opposed to a college athlete maybe who goes to Duke University, my app would definitely be a problem, possibly because the popularity of the Players Tribune, which is already there and founded by someone whose fame was acquired through playing sports, whereas I don't have any fame yet, could also be a challenge. But I think that in terms of social media, obviously, using apps like Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, I mean, all that would be used to announce upcoming releases. So if there's an athlete who's coming up with a podcast, a major athlete who is in college, maybe not to the level of Zion Williamson, but someone similar, if they were to come out and say, we want to do this, we want to post this podcast, we would be all over social media saying that they're going to be doing that and that it's going to be coming out. We'd also probably promote little small content videos. So if there's a segment during the podcast where they're talking about injuries, or if they're talking about whether or not college student athletes should be paid, we might take a little segment of that and put it in on an Instagram story or in an Instagram post, and it's just a couple minute glimpse of what they're talking about the whole time. So you get a little bit of something, and that gives you kind of a hint of what to expect for the whole podcast when you see a little bit of it. Facebook we would also use to post events for live shows. So if students want to have like a live show and have audiences in front of them, then we could promote that on Facebook and have it in the event page. I think it would be good for college student athletes to have the option of performing the show in front of a live audience in addition to or in substitution of just doing it regular podcast style. The utilization of YouTube, I would definitely use YouTube. It would differ from other social media platforms in that it'd be used mainly to distribute one interview a week with an athlete. So basically what that means is I myself or maybe the athlete would have someone different interview them. That way it's not just that they're talking about themselves the whole time, but if you go to YouTube once a week, there's a different feature of an interview. So if I'm interviewing an athlete, I can ask the questions. That way they're kind of challenged, not so that they could just talk about whatever they want, but also talk about what we suspect people would want to hear too. So if there's questions that come from consumers who are listening to it, then they could always put in the comment section of social media, I wonder what this athlete would say about this. And then, you interview on the YouTube, you post it on YouTube, the interview, and it would give a little more information in regard to that. I think that doing such a thing could be a major difference, a big difference maker for athletes who are struggling. Again, I know a lot of freshman athletes who are very intimidated by the forceful nature of being in sport, but also being new to college at the same time. So I think a platform that would allow for those people, all of them, to collectively share their ideas is something that's really beneficial. The overall ability that they would have in uploading their own thoughts with their own voices would be immensely appreciated by the students who feel their voices are silent right now. So the freshmen who right now feel that they are shadowed by the seniors and the sophomores and the juniors would also have the same benefit of posting what they believe, what they think, and sharing their own ideas. But I think it's good for parents too, who would have more certainty in the mental health of their children by hearing what they have to say and learning from their own children and their own experiences and learning about what your child is doing with the school. I think it's good for all schools when athletes are promoting what they're doing. So, an athlete who goes to Duke University might post something in a podcast and talk about how much he or she loves the athletic program. That's exposure for the school. Also, it's available to listenership amongst high school students who are looking to go to colleges and are looking to learn about the complexities of the sport world and the college world. So I think that having a platform where even younger students than college students could listen to is important as well. And overall, I just think that the opportunities for the students to be allowed to tell their stories, again, heartbreaking injuries, recovering from those injuries, the stress that comes with studying for exams and having to attend practices and games at the same time. I think that when they're all able to collectively share their ideas and thoughts and opinions on all of those things and have wide listenership, it kind of makes them feel welcome. And I think the listeners could connect too, and that we all have busy schedules in our own way. So I think that overall, despite the challenges that it would face potentially with the Players Tribune, I think that the app would definitely be supportive for college athletes.